when we talk about living soil, if we pick up a handful of it, it's full and full, but there's millions and millions of little critters in there. And these little critters are the microbes, so the bacteria, the fungi, the protozoa, the nematodes. There's a huge diversity of life going on in the soil, and they actually have an intimate reaction with the plants that are growing in that soil. They're actually taking care of all the things that we would have to do if we were working with dead soil. So they're tilling it on a micro level. So what that's going to do is that's going to cause aggregates, and it's going to hold better water retention. It's going to keep those nutrients more present in the soil. We're going to create more organic matter, and it's going to make the soil light and fluffier to make it easier for root penetration to find that water and find those nutrients. When we have healthier soil, it's going to help create an environment that's going to keep pests and pathogens away. All these microbes are doing all their things and cycling those nutrients and holding it in that soil. So the healthier our soil is, the healthier our plants are going to be. And if that plant is going to be a food source, then that's going to come back to us, healthier people. So it's very correlated. The more nutrients that are held in the soil with living soil will be reflected on the higher nutrient density in our food, which is super important. Now, if we look at something like dirt, well, dirt is dead. It's got no life in it. So we can plant a seed in there, and that seed might grow, but mainly from the energy of the seed itself. And then it's going to need a lot of outside inputs, maybe unnecessary ones that we don't fully need. But if we have really good living soil, that's a long-term solution. It's going to be a lot more sustainable. So we're looking for long-term solutions, not quick Band-Aid ones. It kind of all started when I was looking back at the fact that my grandma, when she was gardening, she was never using any kind of crazy chemicals and stuff. I don't remember seeing any bottles around or anything like that. So it started to get me to think, what's going on? Like, what was done before all this conventional agriculture and the use of synthetic fertilizers and stuff like that. And I started to look and found teachers and people that were still doing old school ways, composting and using the worms. So we started taking these traditional methods and learning from these traditional teachers, and taking more modern methods and tweaking that and being able to provide a service and products that people can now trust and use for long-term results to bring that soil back to healthy conditions. When we've disrupted or we've messed around with our soil a little bit, we've destroyed some of that life, some of that, the microbes again that have created their little cities or whatnot into that soil. So we need to replenish that. So it's just like when we grow vegetables, a lot of that energy comes into that vegetable and then we take it away and we eat it. So we need to put something back. So compost tea is one of the fastest ways to bring that life back to the soil, which is holding on to the nutrients, and we can start that succession of living soil again. If you look at a forest, does anybody fertilize a forest? Does anybody water a forest? So how can we speed fast that process in our yards or in our back 40 to the fact that we can kind of treat it like a forest? So compost tea can be that first succession plan to get us there. So what is compost tea beneficial for? Well, we can use it straight on our bare soil if we're about to just plant or do some seeding. We can put it straight on our lawns, or our athletic fields, any kind of turf grasses. We can use it on our perennial gardens and even our edible gardens and our annuals. We can also use it if some of our trees are not doing so well. We can help them do foliar sprays or soaks. Typically a tree's roots are a little bit deeper into the soil, so we can do a root injection service. This is where we take a device and we're blasting the compost tea down closer to the roots. And that way the roots can take that stuff up as fast as it can to help make it healthier again, to fight whatever disease or pest may be giving it a hard time. Another service that we can do is using the actual worm castings themselves. So this is our main substrate that we use for our compost tea. We can take those worm castings and do a top dressing with it. And as the rain and everything goes for a couple weeks, this is going to start to break down, and we're getting lots of nutrients and everything, and the microbes back into the soil again that way. Then another thing is just if somebody wants to just do their own pots, or if they're doing a little backyard gardening, we can sell castings to you from small little bags to larger bulk bags, depending on what kind of project that you have. Then if one wants to take it to the whole next level, one can actually buy worms themselves and use that as taking care of some of their waste stream and do some worm composting in their house. or in their unit, or even in a schoolroom. And then now they have a benefit of getting rid of a waste stream, but now they're also making their own worm castings that they can use for their growing needs down the road as well. Remember, it all starts in the soil.